This video is mainly going to be about the hours of service rule changes, but real quickly I'll go over my day. I slept a lot. I've had bad loads this week. I was running against recaps because they couldn't schedule my 34 properly. I had a preventative maintenance. I had a bunch of shop time with janky trailers from people at this company that don't do inspections. Like one of the trailers I put in the shop was somebody ran out of hours and they couldn't finish the delivery, so I did a local delivery, 63-mile load, to finish out somebody's load, to do a live unload 63 miles away. And I was there when the guy dropped the trailer. He did not do a post trip on the trailer, and I had to put the shop in the trailer because the ABS light was out. Like, there's just so many dumbasses that work at this company. And I had somebody else, I flagged down somebody else to help me inspect the ABS light, because the ABS light comes on for like 1 or 2 seconds whenever you turn the key to the on position, and then it goes back off. So it was daytime and it was really hard to tell if the light was coming on or off. I asked somebody else to check it for me while I turned the key on to see if it came on and off. And that person had no idea how the ABS light was supposed to work. And they questioned whether it was actually bad. They were like, well, it's not supposed to come on unless there's a problem, is it? Like, and I explained to them that it's supposed to come on whenever you turn the key on. They're like, I don't think mine does that. This was a lease driver. So this is somebody that has experience. This wasn't some student driver or something. You can't become a lease driver with no experience. Like, it baffles me how these people have CDLs. Like, they're not qualified. Like, what Chuck E. Cheese is handing out these damn CDLs around here? Anyway, moving on from that, I had this trip I'm on right now is like a 500-mile load with 2 days on it. So I'm upset about it. I'm upset about the local delivery. I'm upset about all of the shop time. I'm upset about them messing up my 34. I'm really frustrated and upset about a lot of things this week. I'm not going to ramble and rant for 30 minutes about that, though. I'm pissed. Let's leave it at that. I had a lot of downtime on this load, so on a positive note, I was able to catch up on a ton of sleep, because I didn't sleep for about 2 days this week, because many reasons, mainly dealing with shop stuff. I was logged off duty, but I was constantly interrupted with having to call roadside and stuff like that. Just I wasn't able to sleep. And then when I was getting my preventative maintenance done, I was logged off duty all during that time. But they had my truck in the shop. I couldn't sleep in my truck. I tried to go sleep in the break room, the driver lounge area, but they had the TV up real loud. People were in there laughing and joking and stuff, and I couldn't really find anywhere to relax and sleep. It was hot outside. But I got caught up on sleep today. Good to go. So let's talk about the hours of service. There were 4 changes. 2 of them had to do with local drivers. I'm going to try to shorten this up. I'm a really long-winded person, so I'm going to try to avoid going into intricate detail so that this doesn't become a really long video. 2 major changes. One is they increased how many hours per day a local driver can work. They upped it from 12 to 14. I didn't hear anything about them changing the weekly 60 hours. I think it's 60 hours that a local driver can work. Someone operating under the local hours of service regulations. So what this means is that they can have a long day on occasion. It doesn't mean they can work 14 hours a day every day. If they work a 14-hour day, then they're not going to be able to work 12 hours every day for the rest of the week. So it just adds some flexibility, which I'm always in favor of flexibility. The other change is they increased the air mileage from 100 to 150. So now, if you operate within 150 air miles of your domicile, then you can log on you can use the local hours of service regulations, which basically you just have to punch in and punch out. You don't have to do all the detailed logging. You still have to do DVIRs and stuff like that, but you don't have to like log every change of duty status and all that stupid crap that you have to do when you're on a 7 or 8 day log. So those are the local changes. Nobody really cares about local people. They're not real people anyway. I don't even know if they require CDLs to do local stuff. Like, is it day cab a real truck, or is it just like an embellished pickup? These are questions that need answers. On to the real people, over the road. So what are the changes with over the road? A couple of changes with two things. The 30-minute break, they didn't get rid of it, unfortunately. I hate the 30-minute break. It's crap. It shouldn't exist. I despise it. What did they change since they didn't get rid of it? A couple of decent changes, positive changes. One is, as of right now, on duty or driving, either one starts your 8-hour clock. New change, only driving starts your 8-hour clock. So if you do like 4 hours on duty before you start driving, your 8-hour clock doesn't start until you hit the drive line. Number two change is, what can be used during your 30-minute break. Right now, sleeper or off-duty, any mixture of the two. They're changing it to where you can also use on-duty. So sleeper, off-duty, on-duty. Everything except driving can be used during your 30-minute break. So for 30 minutes, as long as you don't hit the drive line, that'll count as your 30-minute break. Pretty simple changes. Next is something that's a little more complicated and possibly exploitative, could cause some hours of service violations for people, and is definitely going to confuse people because the sleeper split has always confused drivers. Every time I've had someone try to explain the sleeper split, they've said that most people can't understand it, most people don't use it, and companies prefer that drivers don't even attempt it because that's where they get hours of service violations, is people trying to do the sleeper split. People don't understand it. It is, once you understand it, it's pretty simple, but it is, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around it. So I'm not going to try to explain the sleeper split because there have been 8-hour classes trying to explain the sleeper split, and people still don't understand at the end of that. I'm not going to do that in this short video. What were the changes? Right now, on the sleeper split, the only option is a 2-8 split. They're adding in an option for a 7-3. Now, you can do the split in either direction. So when I say a 2-8 split, that doesn't mean you have to do 2 hours and then 8 hours. You can do it in the reverse. You can do 8 and then 2. Same goes for the 7-3. You can do a 3-7 or a 7-3. It matters which direction you do it in some situations, especially after you start the split. Whichever you start in, you have to keep going in that. So if you start 2-8, you have to keep going 2-8. You can't do like, you know, a 2-8, 2, and then 2-8, like that. So it does matter. So that's one change, is that they added in the 7-3. The other change is the really big one, which is going to confuse the hell out of people, and I think it's going to cause hours of service violations. Now, to preface this, I have not read the exact rule. I've just watched a couple of YouTube videos like Trucking Answers on it, and I heard about the changes on the radio. I think they just announced them today. I don't think they're implemented yet. They're just, they finally come out with a proposal, an exact proposal, and I haven't read it to see exactly what it does. So there might be something in the rule changes that everyone is not mentioning. Maybe there's some details that are being left out that would make it to where this isn't going to be a problem. But as I've been told, it is going to be a problem. So the only other change that I heard of is that right now in the 2-8 split, the 2 does not suspend your 14. your 14-hour clock keeps running during that 2-hour break. Your 14 is suspended during the 8-hour portion. If that makes any sense. I'm sure some people, that's already confusing people. So whenever you're doing the 2-8, 2-8, 2-8 split, if you're doing a continuous 2-8 split, you don't have a 14-hour clock. You have an 12-hour workday clock, because 2 hours of it is getting eaten up by your 2-hour break, if that makes any sense. Well, they're changing it to where both of them suspend your 14. So the 2 and the 8 both suspend your 14-hour clock. Same goes for the 7-3, 3-7, whatever you want to call it. So now both breaks on the split, on the sleeper split, pause your 14-hour clock. I don't know if anything was changed on the status that you can be in the sleeper split. The way it is right now, the 2-hour portion can be sleeper, it can be off duty, it can be any mixture of the two. The 8-hour portion has to be 8 continuous hours in the sleeper. So I'm assuming, since nobody mentioned anything about changes to the duty status required or allowed in the sleeper split, that it's still the 3-hour and the 2-hour portions can be any mixture of off-duty and sleeper, and the 7 or 8-hour portion has to be continuous in the sleeper of 7 or 8 hours, whichever one you're doing. Here's the problem. Here's the big exploit. Here's the big confusion. Here's the hours of service violations that I foresee. Let's say that you arrive at a shipper, you're getting loaded or unloaded, whatever, it doesn't matter. You've only got an hour left on your 14. And it's going to take you over an hour to get loaded. So you're sitting there thinking, well, shit. There is that truck stop that I want to go to that's about 50 miles away that has all the amenities I want, and I'm not going to be able to make it there like I planned. That's my fuel stop. That's where I want to park for the night. That was, that was my thing. I was really looking forward to that. But now I'm running against my 14. Whenever I get loaded, unloaded, whatever, I'm going to have to use personal conveyance to go find a safe place to park, and I can only go to the nearest safe place. I'm not going to be able to drive 45, 50 miles to the place I want to go. Damn it. So you go off duty or sleeper, it doesn't matter. And while you're getting loaded, while you're hanging out in your sleeper, watching TV or eating or whatever you do, and then they finally get you loaded, you sign your paperwork, you're ready to head out, and you're about to switch over to PC, and then you notice that it says that you still have an hour of your 14 left, hour of workday left, and you're running against your workday clock, not your drive line. So you have plenty of drive time, well over your workday. So now you have enough time to make it to that truck stop that you want to go to. Sweet. So you drive that 50 miles to that truck stop, and before you run out of work day, you make sure to split over or switch over to on duty to do your post trip, because you're awesome like that. You actually do post trips and things. And sorry, going around a tight turn. I'm in the left-hand lane passing a U-Haul. And there's a left-hand merge lane. Awesome. And my collision avoidance system, because of the merge lane, thinks that I went out of my line, which I didn't. And now there's a VW Bug that I'm probably going to have to pass as well, because he's, for some reason, going under 65. Everybody's driving under 65 tonight. All right, we're good. I'm just past the VW Bug now. So you've done this, and there are no hours of service violations at this point. So you log off duty to take your 10-hour break. And, you go do your things. Maybe you use personal conveyance to move over to a better spot because you creatively parked at the fuel island because there weren't any spots when you got there. And you took your shower, you did all your stuff, whatever. All those good things happen. Your 10 hours is up, you're ready to do your pre-trip, so you're about to start rolling. You do your pre-trip, you're good. Pre-trip's done, you did your 10 minutes, now you're ready to hit the road. You hit the drive line after 10 hours of off duty. And then bam, as soon as you hit that drive line, hours of service violation for going over your 14, driving past your 14 on your previous driving period, on your previous work period. What happened? Well, the ELD automatically does splits. You don't have to choose any options for splits, nothing. As long as you're, doing whatever, you're in the proper duty status for a split, it will automatically calculate your hours for a split. So, because you went 2 hours off duty or sleeper, it paused your 14. It thought you were doing a sleeper split. So, it paused your 14, and you thought that you had another hour of workday left because it paused your 14. More paper tags, man. There are just tons of paper tags out here. Mainly used cars. The used car market is booming. All those people getting that $1,200 check, they're like, yep, time to buy a car and a TV. I heard Walmart can't keep TVs in stock since those stimulus checks went out. So the ELD is going to show that you have that extra hour of your workday clock. Now, for you to actually get that extra hour, how do you fulfill the other half of the split? You've done the 2-hour break, which can be off duty or sleeper, it doesn't matter, and it paused your 14. So what about the second half of the split to complete the split? What do you have to do? You have to do 8 or more hours in sleeper berth, continuous sleeper berth. Well, you didn't bother doing sleeper because you're going to use personal conveyance and other things. So you didn't have 8 continuous hours in the sleeper. You just logged off duty. Well, you're not going to be in violation until you hit the drive line again. But as soon as you hit that drive line, you did not complete a split. So you're going to have a retroactive hours of service violation. This is the problem that I foresee with this, but maybe there's something in the details of the regulation that account for this. I can't comprehend, I can't fathom that this has not been considered by all of the people, these super genius people that come up with these awesome hours of service rules and regulations. I can't imagine that they would not have thought about that. So, we'll see. Maybe ELDs will make you choose that you're going into a sleeper going forward. Or maybe the longer portion of the split, the 7 or the 8, does not have to be in the sleeper berth anymore. Maybe it's off duty and sleeper. That would fix the problem. Or ELD manufacturers are going to have to make people manually choose that they're going into a sleeper split. I don't know. Those are the only 2 ways I can think of to work around that problem. Is either remove the sleeper berth requirement from the sleeper split, or ELD manufacturers are going to have to make it to where people have to manually do sleeper splits, no longer automatically doing it. But anyway, that's my video. I don't know how far away from my fuel stop I am. I shouldn't be too terribly far, but I'll check out the details on the hours of service changes, and maybe they did account for for that problem. If they did not account for that problem and this gets implemented in its current form of what I think it is, if I'm correct in, everything was explained in the videos, the news and stuff where I've heard the rule change, then there are going to be a ton of hours of service violations because of it. Just crazy amounts of hours of service violations. It's going to be ridiculous. Well, we'll see. I don't think there's anything else left to say. My next trip is probably going to be routing me to the house because it's Friday. I'm supposed to be home by midnight Saturday night or 12:01 a.m. Sunday morning to do a 34. So this is going to be a really crappy mileage week because I'm in Kansas City at the end of this load, and Kansas City to my house is not very far. So yeah, this is going to be like a 2,000 mile week, which I consider to be crap. I talked to some other drivers while I was at the terminal, and 2,000 mile weeks seem to be the norm for a lot of people. I don't know how the hell they can stand that, because at 40 cents a mile, 2,000 miles a week, that's $800 a week. That is some crap money, in my opinion. But if you don't have any bills, you're living out of the truck, you just want to just barely putt along in this thing, then I guess that's good for you. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm upset about this week. It's a low mileage week, bad loads, bad planning, bad employees at the company I work for, dropping bad trailers for me and doing a lot of shop time. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. I hope you're having a better week than I am. And it's only about 3 weeks away until I can start moving over to the lease side. And I am really hoping that things get a lot better once I get over there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.